Hey guys, welcome back to Radical Living Podcast. This time I sat down with Ashley, who is co-founder of Olive Lane NI. You can check out their social media. I think they're on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. They also have a website where they upload blog posts and share different insights into different matters. In this episode, Ashley talks about how Olive Lane originated, how it was formed, its vision, and also what the future holds for these girls and what they're trying to achieve. Amazing story, amazing vision, and just an amazing heart behind this passion project that these girls have. Guys, this is just a reminder to go and check out our social media platforms. Remember to leave a comment, leave a review, like, subscribe, share. You can find our episodes via the link in our bio on our Instagram and our Facebook page, and we upload all of our episodes to iTunes, Spotify and YouTube. But right now we hope that you enjoy this episode with Ashley and listen in to what she has to say. Talking about Olive Lane, and we'll get into that and what that is. You weren't always Olive Lane, so could you kind of tell us what you were doing before that, what it was before that, and then probably ties into the next question in the sense of why did you change the Olive Lane, and where did that originate from, where did it come from?
Grand. So I think a lot of people knew us on Instagram as Sword and Scribe, like before the dramatic change of Olive Lane that people didn't get a choice to unfollow or refollow. So Sword and Scribe started as a result. The four of us, there's four girls. There's me, there's Ashley, me, Mel, Emma and Chloe, and we all went on a trip with other girls to Cambodia, and we were all really passionate, and we were involved in No More Traffic, and we were all really passionate about human trafficking and seeing that come to an end in some way, just by even influencing one person or changing one person's view on human trafficking or raising awareness about it in some way. We were all just really passionate about that, and we wanted to see how people, because Cambodia was known for being the biggest human trafficking country in the world, we wanted to go and see how organisations there dealt with that, and like how they, because obviously Northern Ireland, it happens here, but it's on a much smaller scale, so we wanted to see how they dealt with it and the programs they used to tackle it and the methods of like making things and like how they tackled it in their own unique way. So we all went there for 5 weeks, and we learned a lot like about each other and the world in general. Like we just were really challenged about human trafficking being a real issue, and we wanted to do something. I think that's a natural like reaction,
take action,
to just want to see a problem and do something about it. I think that's every human's like natural reaction. It's just whether they do it or not. So we all were like, right, we need to do something about this. So we started seeing what skills we had to use. You know, like everyone has skills, so a few were quite creative and could do nice calligraphy and do nice art. So we were like, why don't we sell things like that and give the money to charities, like different charity every month. So we started that.
Wow.
And that was Sword and Scribe.
And you started that when you came back?
We started that when we came back from Cambodia. All four of us, not all four of us did the prints, obviously. But we knew that was only temporary. And we knew there was something bigger, and we obviously were seeking that, and we were praying together about that, and we wanted to see something bigger, and Olive Lane kind of came from that.
Brilliant. So I love that you get sense that there was something, because quite a lot of time when somebody starts something, they nearly stick at it because they want to hold on to it and they don't want it to change. But I think it's really amazing that you girls sense that actually there's something more to this and there's something underlying. So kind of going into Olive Lane, what then exactly is Olive Lane? What does it aim to achieve?
So it's the same kind of thing. Obviously we were still passionate about human trafficking, and we felt like we still wanted to do something to tackle that. But we wanted to localise it. So we knew that that happened in Northern Ireland, but we wanted to go deeper into how people get into that. Like, so Mel is a social worker. Yeah. And she works with a lot of girls and boys who have been through the care system throughout Northern Ireland, and happen to be statistic wise that people who came through care might have ended up in human trafficking or in other forms of exploitation, and it's just not there by anything they've done, but like just by the way they were brought up, like the way they've been through that care system of not having much hope, like not having much hope for their future, and then someone taking advantage of that. So Mel obviously told us about that, and we saw that, and our whole thing even throughout Cambodia had been, if we affect one person, if we change one person, change the system for one person, then it's all worth it. Like everything's worth it for one. And so we Olive Lane started, we were trying to think of a name, so
that's the hard part.
Yeah, that was the hard part, but we all love olives, so we were like olive, but then also deeper than that, the olive branch is obviously like a symbol of peace and like reaching out to help, and we love that symbol of the olive tree and olive branches. But there's so many things called olive branch and olive tree and
that
everything.
Is true, yeah.
So we loved the analogy of a lane, because when you go down a lane, you're going somewhere specific. Like you're going down a lane to a house. You never like just randomly walk down a lane like you do a road.
No, there's an end goal.
There's an end goal. So we loved that, and that's where Olive Lane was born.
Wow.
So we wanted to. We've been running for like a year now.
Okay. As Olive Lane.
As Olive Lane.
Yeah.
So in Northern Ireland last year alone, there were so many care leavers, just so many. The statistics rise every year. Yeah. Not in training or employment or education. Like they just, as soon as they left care, that was them. They just either turned to bad things, or like, as you would, because you have nothing to fall back on. So we specifically focused on young females, because we noticed that that's where the higher chance of exploitation, the higher chance of not having a chance was. So they were really at a big social and economic disadvantage as from being a girl to begin with, and then being a care leaver. So we want to give these young women chances and opportunities through training, employment, community, even with us. So we want to use opportunities in the hospitality industry. That's where my background is. And we want to promote employability and entrepreneurship. Like we just have this goal of, we want to help them, we want to train them, we want to show them avenues they can go down, and then we want them to move on with their ideas and get them out into their own world.
Niche.
So over the past year, we've been running a pilot program, basically, every now and again, a wee pilot, and just to see how we actually want it to be, like how we want Olive Lane to run. So we've been running this pilot program, and through the program we were working with the Raglan. It's the men's shed. Did you ever hear of the men's shed? It's this program in Ballymena that men throughout Ballymena who have maybe lost their jobs, or like they're older, they grow vegetables and stuff. And like we plot, and it's really class what they do. But they had loads of like leftover vegetables and stuff. And so they were like, you know, if it fits in with your program, you could use these to maybe make something with the girls.
Brilliant.
So we ran that program. We were developing kitchen skills, using ingredients, you know, like with these girls. We were learning how to make ketchup with all the tomatoes. We were like seeing how that, you know, how that healthy eating side of things coincided with their healthy lives, like bringing all that in and really just getting to know this group of girls. So in that in that program, the pilot program, we were making granola one week.
Okay.
We decided to make granola.
Yeah.
And I was like,
everybody loves
let's
granola.
make granola.
Yeah.
And one of the girls was like, I've never had granola. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, how have you not had granola? Like, granola's great. And she was just like, no, I've never had it. So we started making it, and they really enjoyed it. Like, really enjoyed it. And we'd been talking about making a product to make our program sustainable.
Yeah.
So obviously we can apply for funding, and we had applied for funding to do our pilot. But we want it to be self-sustainable. So we were like, could we develop this as a product, like with the girls' help, and so they can learn business as well, like the business side of it, with learning alongside the nutrition side of it, learning alongside how to brand, how to, that's a whole area of expertise that they could learn. So we made Olive Lane granola. So that's how it came about, because everyone's like, it's a wee bit random, just this granola came out of nowhere after doing the frames or after doing the calligraphy. But Olive Lane granola happened, and we've successfully sold it. We've had it on markets, we've catered events. It's
just kind of took
off a wee bit with the granola side of things, which is ideal.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so amazing how the girls, I think it's amazing, first of all, what yous are doing, and how I love how yous are trying to get those girls out of, there's a lot of psychology probably behind it as well, like why, because it's nearly, and I don't know a lot about it, but it's nearly in their minds that they settle for less, and they don't know their worth, or they don't know, actually, it's not right to be taken advantage of, but yet they don't understand that there's a right and a wrong. Am I right in saying that?
And it's almost like there's another option. You know, like for, when you're brought up to believe anything's possible. Yeah. Like we're brought up, like at school, you can do anything you want to do. You can do,
but they don't have that.
To not have that, or to not think there's another option for you, is just for us as a wee bit, like
surreal.
Yeah, surreal. But it's like so class to see you telling someone that there is another option. Yeah. And that's what we want Olive Lane to be, like a bigger, better option.
I think that's amazing. And just also as well, I love that it's not just making granola, like you're trying to help them with their marketing skills or branding, or whatever avenue they might go down. And like you said, Olive Lane, like that's so important, for them to kind of choose what lane they want to go down. So I absolutely love that. I think it's amazing what you girls are doing. Just to kind of go off and relate it back to this podcast is Radical Living podcast. So for you, Ashley, what would you say radical means?
So not that I googled it or anything, but I did Google how do we look, and but I first thought of, like, when I hear the word radical, what do I think of? So like for me, I think of like a radical change, like that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Radical change, like I don't know why, like whether I've heard it so much with, I don't know, but I just think of change and bringing a change, and then I related that to Olive Lane, obviously, because I relate everything to that. And I was like, to bring a radical change to these girls would mean breaking a cycle that's continued for years for them. So that is a radical change, because it's a literal, like, complete turnaround, and it's changing the cycle of fear, or the cycle of disheartening that they've always had, to a cycle of hope. And I just love that. Like, the word radical means a complete turnaround, and letting them have a voice.
Absolutely. And I think, just as you're talking there, a word that comes out for me, well, whenever you're talking about being radical and a complete turnaround, is restoration for those girls. And just how and what you said earlier about, it's in our human nature to see something and want to change it, but then you said that not everybody does that. But you girls are doing that, and it's bringing restoration for so many young women's their lives. So I just think that's incredible. Obviously, making granola, I love granola, and I'll have to try some of yours. Yeah. But what is the long-term vision for Olive Lane? Like, what is it always going to be granola? Is there other avenues you're trying to explore, you want to go down?
Yeah. So obviously granola, it's funny because granola was never meant to be the plan, you know, so granola's just been a wee extra bit that's been helping us out, and at the minute we're developing a new flavour, and that's exciting. Brilliant. And like,
I've seen that on your Instagram stories.
Yeah, we need any flavour suggestions, shoot them my way. But obviously our main aim was to help them reach, for our long-term goal has been to have a permanent Olive Lane.
Yeah, okay.
Like a place for these young women to have practical experience alongside all the behind the scene things, like our programs that we run about empowerment and confidence and all that running alongside. So our long-term goal is to have a cafe or deli for Olive Lane. Saying out loud. Yeah. And
now you've said it.
I've said it. And so our goal is that ultimately. So to get there, that's why we're selling our granola. We're building a brand, and our next step is to have a pop-up cafe.
Brilliant.
So just to, it's just the same as the pilot thing, like to see how it goes down, to see how it works. Because if it doesn't work for the girls, then we're not going to do it. If the making the granola not in public works better for the girls, then we'll do that. Yeah. But that's the plan for that's our next plan. Like, we want to have a sustainable place where the girls can come and do a placement with us. Yeah. And they learn skills, transferable skills, whether it's they want to be a hairdresser, whether they want to be like working in an office, they'll learn some skills that we can pass them on with, and we follow up on that with them. So that's the future, the goal of Olive Lane.
But I think even just like building their confidence and their people skills, it'll help like whatever avenue they choose to go down. So exactly. I think that's amazing. So have you any like dates for the pop-up cafe, or you don't know? Obviously
COVID threw a wee bit of a spanner in the works, because it was supposed to be running up to Christmas. It was supposed to be popping up. Yeah. But obviously COVID sprung a wee spring in the
Spanner in the works.
Yeah, it did. So that's unsure at the minute. We're just working on this next granola flavour, and we'll go from there.
Doing what you can.
With what we have.
With what we have, absolutely. You have kind of touched on this already, Ashley, but I'm just, why so passionate about women and the empowerment of women? Is that something that you, on a personal level, are just very passionate about, or was that birthed?
So I think obviously we're all women in Olive Lane, and I think from even being in Cambodia, knowing that it was women who were targeted almost, it's women who were taken advantage of, and just that women are seen as less. I think that's always been a thing for me. I'm not a big massive feminist or anything, but I think that's always been a thing for me, that women have so much potential in different ways, and I think it's the different ways that have been overlooked. You know, I think it's not that women have been silenced or anything like that, but I think it's more that what women have to give has been overlooked.
Yes.
And for us, that's the most important measure of our success, is that these women are more confident, are more skillful, have more employability in this safe safe space. Yeah. And it's just that women, I mean, maybe someday there'll be an Oliver Lane or something, because it happens to boys and men too. Yeah. And very similarly. Yeah. But I think the statistics can't hide that it's women who are most affected by the issues we're seeing. Yeah. And have been affected more by leaving care.
Okay.
And that's why women.
Yeah.
And personally, I think it's just, I would love someone to do that for me. Like,
Yeah.
and I would love someone, if I was in that position and I didn't know what it was like to feel empowered or to feel confident, I'd want to know what it was.
Yeah.
And I always come back to, like, it's our big quote. Well, it's my favorite quote. Is the quote always is, just come to the enormity of the problem is to feel the one. So I'm always like, I'm saying again, like, if All of Liam makes a difference to one life, then we make a difference to, it's all worthwhile.
Yeah.
And it comes back to, if we're overwhelmed by a big enough problem, then we don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's like, if I know, oh my goodness, I have so much to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's piling on top of me. There's so much.
Yeah.
I end up procrastinating and not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
But that can happen so much with injustice, especially like with women. Like, it gets so much. You know, if you think of all the issues that surround women, there's so many.
Yep.
And you know yourself, like, talking to people on this podcast, like, there's so many issues. But if we let that get too much, then no one will do
Nobody will do
anything about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's that spurred us on to just be really passionate about women being empowered.
Yeah. I love that. I wasn't planning on asking you this. Okay. But you kind of mentioned before, like, you and the girls prayed about it a lot, and obviously, like, you have your own personal faith. How does your faith encourage you in what you do, or motivate you to make a difference?
I think the one thing again, like, Jesus would have came if it was just one of us. Yeah. And I think that's to have our faith that we all have, and we promote that throughout All of Liam, albeit it's not our number one. Like, we don't advertise as that, but it's the cause of us doing it, and we're very,
it's the heart,
and we're not shy about that, and we're never going to hide that. But to step out in faith, and do that, I think just Jesus would be very passionate about things like this. And that always gets me. I'm just like, it's not like we're doing God's work or things like that, but I just think the heart of God and the heart of Christianity in general and our faith is to see others uplifted and to see others live to their full potential. And I just think that's why we're all so passionate about it.
Love that answer. No, it was good. And just what you said there about, you know, Jesus would have done it just for the one. I just think that's lovely, and the heart behind all of it. All of Liam, am I right in saying, is a social enterprise?
So we're a social enterprise, CIC. Okay. So so All of Liam NI Social Print Enterprise, CIC is the full title.
Okay.
So a CIC is a community interest company. So we're in the interest of the community.
Yes.
But yes, we're a social enterprise.
Cool. And obviously you're impacting the community and trying to better it. How many staff then do you have? So how many girls are involved? And we've kind of already chatted about the long-term goal for them, helping them get through avenues. But how many do you currently have?
So at the minute, obviously, we have, all of us are voluntary. And there's four of us co-founders. And at the minute, we're just working with one girl.
Okay.
Obviously, everything happened. But that comes back again to the one. Like, we don't care how many girls we have. We don't care how many girls come through our program, as long as there's one. And so that's, at the minute, we're happy with that.
And I'm sure it's really rewarding being able to see, like, what you're trying to pour into them and do for them to actually take on board the confidence and the knowledge that you're passing on. I'm sure it's really rewarding.
Because obviously at the minute, we're making all this granola and we're non-for-profit and the money's going back in to us, and we're most excited about seeing in the future how we can be more sustainable within that, and how the girls learn from that, and how they take that we're not in it for ourselves. You know what I mean? That we're in it for them. And that's exciting.
You're wanting to give back. I just think, just to kind of close us off, Ashley, for someone wanting to venture out and be radical and pursue their passion, because you kind of talked about how you're passionate about hospitality and nutrition and health and fitness, and obviously empowering women. What advice would you give to someone listening to this?
I think for me personally, talking, it always, throughout life, like, it always got to me a bit that if I didn't do something, someone else is going to do it. Like, and I know we said about, if you don't do it, you know, it's not going to be done.
Yeah.
But it scared me more that someone else is going to do it.
Yeah.
Because if I feel like I'm supposed to do something, I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I think the thought of that should make you do it.
Yes.
And for you to step out in faith in whatever and just do it, the reward from that is more than not doing it at all.
Yeah.
And it's almost worse for me thinking, if I watch someone succeeding in doing it, that's great, I'll be so happy for them.
Yeah.
But I'll almost be like, what would I have got out of that? You know what I mean?
If
for
you would
me
have taken that
personally,
step.
if I just took that step and done that, and I just tell anyone, just do it, and you will never regret doing something like that. I have never met someone who's done something, stepping out radically to pursue something that they've been really passionate about and be like, I really regret that.
Yeah.
Like,
doesn't happen.
I don't think it does.
No.
So, yeah.
I think just as you said that, I think that's actually a thought I've had before too, and it reminds me of Esther.
Yeah, it's literally biblical.
because Esther, you know, I think Mordecai says to Esther, you know, you're made for such a time as this, but if you don't do it, God will get somebody else. You know, and I think just what you said there, just the reward and what could happen is far and outweigh, like, it will far outweigh the fear of what you don't know.
Yeah.
So guys, there you have it. That is our second episode of 2021. It's really hard to imagine that we're already 2 episodes in. We loved having Ashley on the podcast with us. We loved hearing about Olive Lane NI. Make sure and go check out their social media and follow along their story and their journey. The best way to get in touch with them is on their website, but also go and show them some love over on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Guys, we just want to say a massive thank you again for tuning in to listen to our latest episode and to all of our other episodes. And if you haven't done so, check out the link in our bio on our Facebook and Instagram social medias, and go and listen on whatever platform you prefer, whether that be Spotify, iTunes or YouTube. Guys, we appreciate your support. We're so thankful, and remember to make that everyday choice to be radical.